My name is Master Ali Ghafour, CEO of 2020 Armor, and I'm joined by somebody who is not unfamiliar in the Taekwondo scene for many reasons. She has a very successful athletic background as an Olympian, but also as a referee, and also now as a Pumse competitor, but also as a banker and has a financial degree as well. So all the perfect combination for us as club owners and martial artists to ask about the financial situation, the financial options available during the coronavirus. Now, this is for U.S. customers only, just as an FYI. But I have with me Master Elva Adams. Ma'am, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we have lots to talk about. Now, we had this actually scheduled for last week, and you're so gracious to offer your time. And just an hour before the live stream, you got something from your bank head and said all the rules changed.
Yes, I'm telling you, there's so many changes. I mean, it's just so hard to keep up.
Yeah, exactly. And so, because of that, there's a lot of questions that a lot of people will be asking, and we really encourage everybody who is on here to ask that. So, ma'am, just give me a second while I make sure that we are actually live on our other pages.
Okay.
Actually, maybe while I do that, ma'am, do you mind? I know I gave an intro about you. Do you mind giving your own intro in case I missed something? I know I realized I didn't name the bank that you're at.
No, I should. I think you did a really good job. I mean, that's pretty much, my involvement in Taekwondo, and started 30 years ago, and now I'm involved in both karaoke and sparring. So, and not a lot of people know that I actually have a full-time job. I am actually a Taekwondo school owner, so I kind of wear, many hats, like many of you do, because I know a lot of school owners also have full-time job. So, that's what I do during the daytime. I'm a banker. I'm a commercial bankers. And I have about 23 years of commercial lending industry experience, especially as an SBA loan. So there's a good opportunities that I am able to use my knowledge with the SBA program. So, I'm glad to help. I've been very busy right now. So, so that's why I'm here and try to answer any questions you have. And I just want to put a disclaimer up in the front that, my information is not an official ruling, you should say, but most of the information that I am going to provide right now online through this live stream, those are public information and is available in U.S. Treasury Department website. We are getting a lot of updated notices from the SBA on a daily basis. So believe me, there's a changes coming in every single day. So that's why I'm going to, answer any questions and provide information to the best of my knowledge. And hopefully that way we can get a really good understanding of how, this Paycheck Protection Program works.
Yes, absolutely. And, one of the things that we were talking about before we started the live stream is, first, the three major programs, the SBA, EIDL, and PPP. I think just for starters, maybe having a high-level overview of that for those that don't know about it. And then we'll go into some detail about those. I know you have a document that you want to share with folks, and we'll do a live stream of that or a screen share of that. For folks that are, again, watching, please ask, I'll put it in the little bottom there, please ask your questions in the comments at any time, because this is a very, very, very unique advantage to have Master Adams on the live stream with us, and you can ask your questions live while we're having this conversation, and we will get to them and again take advantage of this. So ma'am, I guess maybe just high level, those three options that people have available, can you kind of describe those?
Okay, so the first options, as everybody knows, that the first one is called Economic Injury Disaster Loan, and also known as EIDL, and we now call them EIDL. So those are programs that you can receive and you can apply directly with the SBA on their website. And that application process, as you know, has been changed many times. And now they're on their last version, which is very easy to complete. It probably takes you about 10 minutes if you have all the information that you have. So that's strictly an online process, about 4 or 5 pages, asking you yes or no questions. Those are very important eligibility questions, because what SBA right now, what they're doing is, because so many applications being sent, so they want to make sure that people who apply are eligible for SBA loans. So that's why a lot of people are asking why there's no loan amounts and they don't know how much they can put it in. So they are not asking that question at this stage. Right now, they just want to make sure that you're eligible, and they're asking you for account information. So I think as of yesterday, I heard that the first round of approval will coming out probably either today or tomorrow. That's what I heard from the news. So I'm not sure, because I actually applied that program as well. So the only thing that I received is a confirmation, just email confirmation. That's it, nothing else.
Right.
So we still have to wait for that. And the second loan program is, we call it, now it's very popular, everybody knows, it's called Paycheck Protection Program, PPP. Now, this program is different than the EIDL. This one, PPP program, is where you actually apply through your lender, your banking institutions. And there's approved lending institutions that you can go. I always suggest, and as everybody else do, start with your own a banking relationship, and if they are participating the PPP program, they will be able to help you. And I know a lot of lenders right now, they are only putting their customers as a priority. So that's why I encourage everybody, contact your bank first. So this program, what it is that you, of course, you apply with from the lender, and it's first come first serve. So far, I have not heard there's a lending cap, even though the SBA, the government says, okay, they will cap at the $345 billion, something like that. But each banks, depending on the size of your bank, they also have a cap limit. Depends on what your funds availability of that bank, right? So obviously, larger banking institutions, they have larger gap, and then smaller community, they have smaller. So really, it depends on what the local banks and your own banks can help you on that. So that's the two programs, and I can go into a little bit more detail, compare which one, because right now there's a lot of question is that which one is best for you, okay? And how you can get the most money that you need to help you to use it for your business. So the third program you mentioned is called SBA Disaster Bridge Loan Express Program. Now, this is another program. It's up to $25,000, and it also applies to your lending institution. So if your bank says SBA preferred lenders or certified lenders, they may have, when I say may, they may have the program, just depends on if they want to introduce or not. So this is a bridge program that's designed for a business owner who need immediate needs. Okay, and they can accomplish what they need within the next month or two, if it's sufficient for that $25,000. And if they participate in that program, you can apply for that program, and it can be paid off by this Paycheck Protection Program. So if you got a funding for that, it can be paid off by EIDL and PPP. Okay, so this is just like interim programs. Right. These are programs that SBA provides right now.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know that you can use it in concurrently together. That's great to know. Okay. Again, for those watching, please, who just joined, I'm here with Master Elva Adams, who is a club owner, a former athlete, referee, and also a banker. And ma'am, sorry, your bank's name is again what?
Okay. Yes, I work for a local community bank. Let's just.
Oh, a local community bank. Okay, I thought. Yeah, sorry. I thought you were allowed to talk about specifics. You are a banker. We'll leave it at that. So for those who missed some of the beginning of the call, this stream you can actually rewind back at the end when we finish it. You can rewind back, and then so we will post the video as well. And then we encourage you to ask the questions in the stream so that we can address them, because this is a very unique opportunity to have Master Adams live with us. Okay, so ma'am, so we covered the main programs and what they're about, and that we can use them concurrently. And then you also talked about briefly about choosing which one is right for you.
Yes.
How can you go a little deeper into that?
Absolutely. So the idle loan, when it first introduced, we all know they capped at the maximum loan amounts at $2 million, and the first $10,000 will be forgiven. And that $10,000, if you're approved, you will receive that money right away, and you can use that for your operating cost, such as a payroll, utility, lease, interest payment for your loans, and so forth. That loan proceeds cannot use to pay off your existing debt. For example, you have maybe you have a school owner owns a passenger van for your after school care.
Right.
That loan is a very high interest. You cannot use loan proceeds to pay that. Okay, so it can only use for the normal operating expenses. I don't know how long the processing is. So like I said earlier, right now they're just going through the first round of eligibility checklist and make sure you're eligible. And they will immediately, once you're eligible, they will immediately wire the $10,000 money in your account. Okay, that's what I heard. So for paycheck program, so why this name? What's the program designed is for companies who wants to continue to keep their employee at a job, okay, or for the purpose for you to rehire your employee back to the workforce. Because we know a lot of schools and businesses are shut down due to the COVID. So that's why the government provide this program. And they also have a program that they as a calculated the formula says you have to use at least 75%, but it's not a straight calculation. It's not that let's just say if you apply for $100,000 and 75% has to use payroll. It's not a straight calculation like that. We're just talking about approximately 75%, and there's a formula. That formula is very complicated. Right now, a lot of lenders will still try to interpret, what is that a true calculation? What the law says from the SBA interim ruling that we all received is that they specify that it's based on what the number of the employees that you have before COVID and after. And there's a cover period, during February 15th and June the 30th. We call it cover period by this code. And then they'll calculate, if the reduction of the workforce or not, and how much percentage that is being reducted, and then how many percentage you hire back. And we use that complicated formula, and then times your maximum loan amount. And that's the amount that if you used it for the payroll, it will be forgiven. Okay. So that's why I said, if there's a company who does not really have a lot of payrolls, employees, this is probably not a good program because, if you're thinking about the loan amount that can be forgiven, right? Now, if you say, no, you know what, you don't care about that forgiven part, you just want to get this and try to maximize the loan amount. Well, but you have to know that for the portion of that loan proceeds that's not forgiven, you're stuck with 2 years amortization, 2 years fully amortizations on a 1% interest rate. So if you have $50,000, just imagine what your monthly payment is going to look like after 6 months, because you don't have to pay after beginning with 6 months, and then you have to pay full principal and interest for 2 years, for 18 months. So it's 6 months first and 18 months. So, just based on, I can let you know, just based on, I just want to put something that in perspective. So, I just say if you have $50,000, okay, $50,000 and 1% is 18 months, your payment is almost $2,800 a month. That's just assuming that full 50% of $50,000 is not forgiven. 2,800 monthly payments for 2 years. Right. So you have to, as an owner, you have to think about, what is your normal operating look like? Can you afford to pay this 2,800 monthly loan payment on top of all other loans that you have? Right. you have a mortgage on a building, maybe you have a loan payment for your car. So all this you have to make sure you calculate. If you can't do it after that, we're back in the square one. Then we have to go back to lenders and say, okay, can you refinance this note and then put in longer maturity because I can't pay in 2 years.
Right.
That's something that I think most of the business owner they didn't really go through that thought process because they just think about, oh wow, it's gonna be forgiven, it's gonna be forgiven. But that back end part, it's just as important as how you calculate come up with a loan amount.
Yeah.
Versus idle loan. Idle loan is 10 years. So for me, I only apply for idle loan because I didn't think that PPP is really benefit me because I only have four instructors. I have one full-time instructor and 3 part-time. So I calculated the amount that I can apply for is probably only $26,000, $27,000. To me, it's just not really beneficial for me. But for some of the companies who has a lot of employees in multiple school locations, it may be it will be different.
Right. So yeah. So and just those who don't know, Master Adams again is a banker and also owns a club in Texas, in the U.S. So I guess would it be fair to summarize and say if you only have one location and you don't have too much employees, don't even bother with PPP?
I don't want to say don't bother with them. So because it's me not to lie. Everybody just have to use their own common sense and think about, okay, really sit down and think about if this is the right program for them.
Yeah.
Based on the comparison and based on the use, how you can, because you have to prove your lender how you come up with a calculation for the loan amount. That's the first step. And I will get into detail because I see the question coming up. So how do we calculate it for sole proprietors and all this stuff? So we're going to detail and discuss that. Okay. But again, SBA, the rule, I love SBA, but it's just the rule that is coming up is not really clear. So that's why it opens up a different interpretations. If you talk to your CPA, accountant, you talk to your attorneys, and everybody interpret a little bit different on what is allowed to come up with the loan amount. And if you're a sole proprietor, you're a selling employee, the loan application opens up tomorrow. So we're going to go through the second wave of PPP war tomorrow because I know a lot of people is going to say, okay, can I include this? Can I include my, just so many questions. So trust me, all the lenders, it's making all the lenders very difficult. It's not that we're slow or it's just we don't have a clear direction on how to capture it because we want to capture as much as a lender. We want to capture as much as we can to help the small business owners, right? But the thing is, right now the rule it just is so vague. It's just it's just a nerve wracking because every time when I put an application through SBA, when I hit the submit button, I said, "Oh my God!" I crunch. I say, "Okay, is this going to come back and have a problem or not?"
and you're a banker, so if you have that feeling, yeah, I'm sure everyone else watching right now has that exact same feeling as well. So there's a couple of questions that came up, ma'am. Let me know when the best time for you think addressing them is, and I know I have the Google Doc or the Excel document queued up to whenever you think that's appropriate. So you please let me know.
Okay, so I'm gonna start right here just a little bit. I know there's a lot of questions. I don't know okay, so let me just read one question. Okay, so if you have an existing SBA loan, that does not count towards the disaster loan, but overall, yeah, it does not. It's a separate. Okay, you're just on the disaster loans on its own. Okay, and then if you have an existing SBA loan, so SBA is going to help pay your 6 months of loan payment. So after, I believe the date is after March 27th. After March 27th, the SBA is going to help you to pay your existing SBA loan payment for 6 months. So I have an existing SBA loan customer. So I told them, I said, don't make a payment. If they already make a payment after March 27th, we will go back to them and say, okay, do you want us to refund your payment or just wait until SBA disperse that payment. So right now, I advise my customers is not do any deferment, because I know a lot of our the customers come in and says, "Hey, I'd like to divert a loan payment." I just tell them to hold off right now, because SBA, we're waiting for SBA to issue the guidance to lenders. Is that okay? How can lender actually collect this payment for the customer? So right now, we just tell our existing 7A customers is, if you have a 7A existing SBA loan, don't do anything, don't pay the payment. If your lender has not reached out to you, here's the information. Okay.
Great.
So let me see if there's another question that I can address about the 10,000 advance, and we apply. Only got a confirmation number submitting. We have not received. Okay, then we apply. However, I can't find any way to apply for the advance. We call it SBA. They didn't know anything about it, so can we see? Okay, so confirmation number does not mean that you're.
Can you repeat the question just in case for those who don't see the comment? Yeah.
One question says about a 10K advance on the idle. It says this person applied for the idle loan, only got a confirmation number to print out after submitting, and it has not received any email after. Okay, and he said he heard that if we apply for the idle loan for the 10,000 advance separately. However, I can't find any way to apply the advance. Okay. Okay, so the way that idle loans works, to best of my knowledge, is SBA receive your application. They provide you with an email confirmation, says, okay, this is your number. They received it. So they're going to look through your eligibility questions, make sure that you're eligible for this loan. If you're eligible, someone will contact you. And then, of course, they will advance the first $10,000 in your account, and someone would contact you and then work on, because idle loan, the maximum loan is $2 million. So it doesn't stop at $10,000, right? So this is what I assume, someone from the SBA will contact you. So, okay, here's the documentation. Provide us with the following documentation supporting with what your loan amount is. That's what I assume. I think that's going to happen after that. So what happened is, if you're already applied for the idle loan, you can still apply the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. One of the loan calculation is asking if you have received idle loan that is funded. Okay, remember the word funded doesn't mean if you apply the 10,000, then you include that 10,000 in your PPP program. No, only if you got a fund from the SBA, that's where you add the loan calculation. So we'll show you a spreadsheet on how you do that in just a minute. Let me grab another question here. Do you have information? Okay, no, I already answered that. Can you just get PPP respect? Okay, so I will talk about also the calculation for the sole proprietor, LLC, and independent contractor. So why don't we just go to the spreadsheet that you have? Maybe we can share
Let me show this and.
calculation. Okay. So after that, Ali, I think your screen is very small. I don't think people can really see it. If you can just enlarge it. Okay. But some of you guys cannot see the screen. I'm just gonna go down. Maybe you can just take
it. So, ma'am, I think what happened was when I put the share screen on the TV on the main projector, your audio cut out and audio cut out, so no one could hear you. So I will we'll have to restart that part. Now I got the audio now, and then I will make it so that for those who want to watch, I know for you it's actually kind of small, but for those people watching, they can actually make a big wide screen.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's only on our screen that it's small. So I'm going to go ahead and try to put us back into the to make this audio only. Okay, and now everybody should be able to see the whole screen and hear our audio.
Okay, very good. Let's go back. So this spreadsheet is for LLC and is for a local a school owner, and so all his employee is on W-2. So it makes very straightforward. So what you do is you take the gross wage, okay, and not include FICA and federal. When I say federal tax and federal income withholding, don't include that, okay. And the second line item is that if you contribute like health care or retirement plan to your employee, you can add that. And the third line item is the state and local income taxes or unemployment taxes. I think your screen just went blank. But anyway, so state and local, you can include that if you file that. And then you come up with a subtotal for the payroll eligible calculation. All right. And then you have to go back and subtract. Here's the item that you need to subtract. You have to, let's just say if somebody who makes $115,000, that wage, gross wage, is capped at $100,000. So you have to subtract the $15,000 from your above calculation. So your above calculation gross wage, you include everybody because that total has to be matched with your W-2, W-3. Okay, so you will subtract the excess of $100,000 employees. Okay, and then for some reason, if you accidentally add the payroll taxes and your federal taxes, you have to exclude it. But if you didn't, just leave it 0. All right. So that's how you come up with a total amount. Then you divide by 12, and that will be your average monthly payroll cost. And then you use the average monthly payroll cost times 2.5. And that will be your loan amount. Okay. So that will be your loan amount. So in this case, for this example, we have a total payroll is 130. I divide it by 12. I come up with a monthly payroll cost is about $10,872. I use that number times 2.5. So $27,000, 181. That would be my loan amount.
And just for those watching, I know there was a little bit of a blip where the screen went black. Just so you guys know, you can replay this stream. We'll be posting it, so you'll be able to reference this image while you're watching it next time. And then I'll ask Master Adams if we're able to share this or not, so you'll have a reference to this later on. So sorry, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay, so once you come up with a total loan amount, then the last item that you added in is your idle. But if you apply on a confirmation, you don't add that. Okay, so don't add that $10,000 back in. So only if you fund it between January 15th and April 3rd, I don't know if anybody got funded, but if you're lucky got funded, you have to include, you need to include that. Okay, SBA is asking you, you have to include that. So once you come up with a loan amount, the lender is going to ask you, give us an estimated figure by percentage or by amount how you're going to pay this. Now it's just an estimate, right? So later on you can change it the lender just need an estimation right now from you, so that way we can complete our SBA submission. And later on, once you actually draw the loan amount, so we will go back as a lender based on what you actually draw and the purpose is what you actually spend to calculate the amount of the loan will be forgive. Okay, so that's very important. Whatever you put in right now as an estimated use of proceeds will not use to calculate loan forgiveness. This is just to give a lender a basic information to put in when we submit to the SBA. Okay? And if you want to be, make sure that you cover yourself. Make sure the lender don't come back to you says, "Oh, wait a minute, you provided me with this information, so that's why we have to use this to calculate loan forgiveness." No, so just make sure when you submit to your lender, put a disclaimer. So this above are just for estimated purposes, okay, and is not used for loan forgiveness calculation purpose. So you can put that disclaimer on a sheet or on the email to your lender. So it's very important. Okay, so that way there's no misunderstanding later on when the lender get ready to calculate the forgiveness part. But most lenders should know that. Okay, but just to protect yourself. Okay, so this is for a LLC and help you how to come up with the loan amount. I know everybody probably by now already have your own spreadsheet. There's no one way says your spreadsheet is right, my spreadsheet is wrong. I know there's a gazillion of interpretation, but I just let you know that this is how lender is looking at. So you can come up with your own method, that's fine. As long as you come up with a loan amount that's very close, then just include that. So if you see on the screen on the right-hand side, the total gross wage and pay raise and FTE. So why that FTE is important? FTE stands for full-time employee equivalent. So for this school, because they only have 2 full-time employees, the rest of are part-time. So you need to kind of figure out what is your full-time equivalent employee number, because this number is very important at the back end. It's not important at the front end when you submit the application, but it's very important at the back end because SBA used this full-time employee equivalent to calculate how much of the loan amount that you can be forgive, how much loan amount you actually used for your employee and use that numbers, right? So in this case, for the purposes, I just took the total gross wage for the whole year per employee, and I come up with it, and then I put a pay rate. If it's a full-time, I know the full-time employee is 1. Full-time employee means if you work 40 hours, right? 40 hours in 1 week is a full-time, so you put 1. So in this case, if pay rate the second one's pay rate is 12 hours, and then I don't know how many hours, because they can work 10 hours this week, 5 hours next week. So you just don't have time to go back and get all that information, right? So for calculation purposes, what I did is I just used, okay, if I used the gross wage, I divided by 52 weeks, right? Come up with a 1 week, how much is the average, right? And then I times 12 months and then divided by 40.
Right.
That's how I come up with the rate, right? So I come up with the rate and I add everything together. I come up with 3.84. So I can confidently say that I have an FTE at about 4 people.
Right.
Okay. So that's what I can put in a loan application, or I can put a loan application based on how many employees I have. It doesn't matter part-time, full-time, or I will do 2 numbers and provide to the lender. Okay. So it just depends on what the lender want to use. Okay. And then I also provide the information because the SBA is want to know that if your business is operating right around February the 15th. Right. So I know a lot of lender is asking the business owner to provide a payroll record for a payroll record right around February the 15th. That's why you will see the February 15th information. So you have to provide them a paycheck register right around 2/15, and it support with your total numbers. of the employees. Okay. So that's for a simple LLC who does not have 1099s, employees, and everything. Now, right now, the interpretation on the what can be included, because I know a lot of owners have 1099 employees, 1099 contractors, and the question is, can we include them? As of today, the answer is no. Cannot include 1099. Because why? Because they can actually apply on their own. And I know there's an argument because, a lot of our attorneys and customers attorney was interpreting, well, wait a minute. If they're a 1090 employee, technically they can include it because they don't file, anything because they're not a self-employee. But right now, the guidance that we receive from the SBA is they can actually apply. So we're still waiting for further guidance from the SBA. So it can be changed tomorrow. It can be changed tonight after our streaming. So please don't hold my word. I'm just telling you right now, as today, April the 9th, 1 p.m. right now. Lender is, yes, April the 9th, 1 p.m. right now. Lender are excluding the 1099. Now, I do know some lenders is including that. Is that right? Is that wrong? Don't know. Again, SBA is not providing a clear guidance for that calculation. Okay, so let's go to the third tabs. Ellie, if you can put the sole proprietorship and self-employee. I know there's questions about how we calculate that.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, the way we interpret is a net earnings from 2019. Because if you're taking a draw, owner's draw, you're not on any 1099s or W-2s, anything, right? So you're taking draws. So the way to calculate is I put $560,000. That's just for example, right? Most of our school owners, the net earnings is probably a lot more less than that. So you take your net earnings, your net income, based off your Schedule C. It's very important. Lenders will collect your Schedule C as a verification purposes because you don't have W-2 to provide it, right? Or 1099. So you will use you use your Schedule C, or if you have not filed your tax return, use you provide them with your profit and loss statement, income statement, profit and loss statement. Use that net income. Okay, and then come up with the total gross wage. Okay, and then if you pay, let's just say if you're self-employee, you do have a payroll cost incurred on your Schedule C, you can include that. Okay, and again, same items. You can include the healthcare benefits that you pay, retirement, because they're all part of your payroll cost calculation, and state and local taxes. You don't include your self-employment taxes that you pay for federal government. That's very important. Then you come up with the eligible amount. And again, subtractions. If you make over 100, well, in this case, if that's talking about your employee, I don't think you're paying employee over $100,000, but you do. You have to subtract that asset.
What if they're really good, ma'am? They could make over 100,000.
Why? You say why? I don't know. But anyway, so you follow the same method as the LLC example. If you don't have anything like that, you just put 0, 0, 0. And then divide by 12, you come up with a monthly average payroll times 2.5. That will be your estimated loan amount. Okay, and the same thing, idle, if you get a funded, then you include that, including in your loan amount. If not funded, don't put $10,000 because you have not received the funding. Okay, so that's the basic calculation on the sole proprietorship, and I know there's going to be changes. I can guarantee you there's going to be more changes coming out from the SBA as far as what can be included, because I belong to a lender group. We're asking a lot of questions as far as the questions are like, can a K1 distribution be included? Can the partners, because a lot of people has a partnership, can a partnership be included? So all those are questions that we don't know. A lot of attorney interpret that, hey, you can include it because that's part of a cost because they're trying to avoid to pay the self-employed tax. So it should be included. So, but we are, as a lender, we're still waiting for that further guidance. We are not telling the customers one way or another we can or cannot include it. So we just ask our customers to wait patiently. We do fall into that category where you have K1 distributions or partnership guarantee. Not just wait until what the SBA says, because we don't want you to submit an application where you exclude it, then the SBA come back and say, oh, wait, you can now you can include it. And then all of a sudden you lost that opportunity as far as calculating overall loan payment. So that's really all the information that we have right now to calculate a loan amount. It's like a moving target. Every day we receive different information. So it's just as we have more information. There's a one website has a lot of information. The great information is coming straight from the U.S. Treasury Department. It has a list of links that you can go in. As far as a frequent, I would ask you to pay attention to the frequently asked question, because those are that's a list of questions that all of us are asking, not just lenders, but you as a business owner were asking. So they're constantly adding that question. So they will publish that, they will change that, will update that, like probably on a daily basis. Because yesterday there's a new one coming out, they add more questions that. So you can address a lot of your questions. And I know probably today or tomorrow they will add this 1099, the K1 distribution, sole proprietor, because the lender group, we already put that as an urgent request for them to address that questions.
Right. And ma'am, so please give me that link, and what we'll do is we'll put it in this stream so that people can reference it as well afterwards.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. So I think that's pretty much a ballpark of the overview. I know there's a lot of questions. I'm not. I will try to answer any questions that I have. Do we have any more new questions? Let me see if I have not addressed. The exact same thing happened. Okay, with an idle, got confirmation. Okay, so if you have not, don't include that. Okay, well, we applied for the idle. There was a box to check you to receive the 10,000. It's okay. It will not affect anything. I mean, I hope everybody's checking that box. Okay, SBA will review for your eligibility. If you're eligible, they will advance that $10,000. If you're not eligible, I'm sure they will send you a follow-up confirmation. The confirmation number is not via email. I actually got an email, so I'm not sure some of you guys did not get an email. I actually got an email confirmation. I have an email. I have a screen has a confirmation. I actually received another confirmation from the email. So I guess it doesn't matter. As long as you have the confirmation, save it, just in case. Okay, so with PPP and LLC, is it only W-2 employees that we can add on? Yes. For right now, only W-2s. Cannot include any of your draws. Okay, cannot include any of your draws, like your owner's draws. For right now. Because think about this. I know you're also an employee of your owner because you're an operator. You run a business, right? But this program really is designed for you to maintain your employee that you hire. That's how I interpret, right? Paycheck protection. So government want you to try to hire your employee and come back if you're not open. So that's really a purpose behind this program. And that's why the government is designed this loan forgiveness program. Now, I know you say, wait a minute, I work full-time, I take draws. But again, right now, it's not included in your application under your LLC. If there's a further SBA guidance, I'll certainly share with you. But as of right now, no, you cannot include your owner's draw. No K1s. Okay? Okay, where do we apply idle? Directly from SBA, I think we already talked about that. There's a link to SBA site. Ali, you probably can.
Yeah, we put that up there. Someone in the comments responded. So thank you, ma'am, for whoever did that.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Na, Master Na.
I know. Okay. Master Na always with the encouragement.
Yes, I don't know how this email is coming from. I think I'll probably have to find the bottom up. Okay.
Yeah, there was at the bottom. There's one question. I know. I see that the comments repeat themselves. It's a little weird.
So one question says, how does the SBA calculate how much the loan is forgiven? It's based on a full-time employee? No, it's based on a full-time equivalent. So you will include full-time, part-time, and other employees. So that's why earlier that calculation to come up with a full-time equivalent. That's very important at the back end. as far as calculate how you can qualify for the forgiveness. I know I did not go into in depth on how that loan forgiveness calculation is, because it's rather complicated. If you have a copy of the rule, because it's a public, you can get a rule. It's very complicated because it's talking about how many employees that you lose and how many you hire back and during what period of time, and then you use that percentage, and then you apply, and then it's 75%. So right now we're still waiting for further guidance from the SBA on how that calculations will be calculated. So as soon as I have further information, I will share, because right now, if I share with you right now, because most of the people has not been funded, right? Because this not happen afterwards. So once I have that information, I'll definitely share. Okay. Yeah, can I use onion straw? Okay, so I cannot have a portal up to accept application yet. It's been a week already since PPA come out. I believe this program first come on, the first service is okay. Yes, guys, I know the frustration, okay? I'm a business owner, I'm frustrated, right? So, but as a lender, SBA come out this is so fast. It's putting all the banks in a really difficult position. I'm not, all your bankers is working very hard to try to come up with solutions, okay, to try to interpret, not just solutions. We know the solutions there. It's just interpret the way that the Congress, the laws, the SBA rule, we try to interpret the wordings. What is the program look like? How can we get this? We want to get the most dollars to the business owner who apply, right? But then we also want to make sure the calculate correctly on the back end, where how much amount that you can forgive. Like I said earlier in our live stream, what if you apply $50,000, all of a sudden only at 50% can be forgiven, and 50% cannot forgive? You're gonna stuck with that loan payment for 2 years, fully amortized 2 years. After 6 months, that payment is gonna be huge. You're gonna find yourself in a deep trouble 6 months from your loan is funded, or based on your calculations. It's so important that when you get to this program, when you apply, you have to really think about it. The purpose of the program is for payroll. Yes, you can use to pay utilities, your rent, your interest payment on your other debt obligation. Yes, you can. It's eligible for that, but the key word is what portion can be forgiven. So it's so important. I can't stress that out, because right now people just say, I want to apply. Okay, get it, and then we'll take care later. No, you gotta do your calculation. Okay. Mm-hmm. Is there a way to make a correction to a PPP application that was submitted? Yes, but depends on how your lender is doing. For my banks, if they submit one first loan application, my analyst will look at your calculation and verify and make sure that your calculation matches with ours. If there's a discrepancy, we will reach out to our customer and ask them, okay, this is our calculation, and this is your calculation. This is our calculation. This is your calculation, and they will say, maybe you did something wrong. They will ask you, okay, if this calculation, if you agree, because we can't use lender's calculation. We have to use based on what you put on your loan calculation, because you certify the loan the loan amount, right? But then a lot of lenders, if they have time, they will go back and actually recalculate, or if it's something different, then yes, you can resubmit the loan application. As long as you get that taken care of before you actually go to closing, let's just say you loan approved before closing, you can always change it, okay? Okay. Yes. The interpretation as an S corp owner that who takes full-time checks, you consider full-time. Correct. That's correct. And you can. So let's just say, based on your interpretation, if you think that you can collect, you can include it. I'm not asking you to exclude it. Okay. Include it. Let the lender decide. Just include it based on the best knowledge of your interpretation. Include that calculation and have the lender decide, because lender is supposed to have all that information, right? But we don't. We're waiting. So, but when you don't stress yourself out whether, okay, is this include or not include? If you, to the best of your knowledge, if you know it's included based on your interpretation or your accountant's advice, your accountant, CPA's advice, or your attorney, include, by all means, just include and submit. Okay.
Right. So to be respectful, ma'am, of your time, we have just about under 10 minutes left. I know you have to get back to processing all the loans for your clients. So I encourage anyone who has any burning questions left to you got these last few minutes with Master Adams before she has to sign off.
Yes. Again, your bankers, they're working very hard. I know some of the bankers is working very long hours. Myself has been working very long hours.
I saw on your Facebook, yeah, you had
so I've been
12
working
hours on the weekends. I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to push this through, and then I know that, you know, everybody's mad at the lenders, mad at the banks, but keep in mind, you know, government dumped this on the lenders, and we're doing our best to interpret this programs and try to get everything out. But because the SBA is relying on lender to verify all the information you provide, so we do have a responsibility that we have to make sure that everything that you submit is correct, right? So make sure that you certify your information. And so that way, and complete package is so important. Your lender right now should give you a checklist. Make sure you submit everything at once. Complete package. So that way the lender does it. Because you think about the big banks, they probably receive thousands of hundreds of thousands of applications. They just don't have the manpower to go back to you and ask questions or, you know, collect additional information. So that's why you need to make sure you follow the checklist that your lender provides you to get everything ready and put it in. Okay, so it will save a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those asking, this will be we will post this on the link that you see at the bottom, 2020armor.com/stimulus. There's some stuff there, but we'll update that based on what Master Adams has updated us now. And we'll also put this video stream on there too. So these are last few minutes to ask some of your questions before she has to get back to her day job.
Yes, so I would love to do another live stream with you, Ali, because I know there's a lot of questions about the owner's draws, the K1s, and partners guarantee. We just don't have enough information right now. There's some basic information, but it's very vague. It's not clear, and you know we're waiting for another update. It's published daily, so I have that information, I will provide it, and we can come back and do another calculation based on the self-inquiry. I know his application is open tomorrow, but I can guarantee you not a lot of lenders are ready to process that. Right. So be patient. I know time's ticking, time's running out because, you know, owners, I have a customer call me and cry on the phone. So we all understand the urgency. So that's why we go back to SBS is, you know, we gotta get clear instructions on what to include. So rest assured, hopefully they will publish something today, tomorrow, and as we get more information, we'll tell you. There's no difference between, I guess there's some difference between large banks and community banks. It just depends on, you know, the level of service and your relationship with your bank. So I can comment on that. Every banks operate differently. So that's all I can say. Just know that all the banks or your bankers are do their best. If they don't call you back, it's because they are jam-packed with questions, emails, phone calls. I know I try to keep up with my customer, but sometimes I just can't. I wish I had more hours. I with all the lenders, everybody have more hours to add to and they can answer any questions. So anyway, that's why we have this live stream. So, you know, we can support each other and share information. If you have long questions, anything, let's do this another way. Maybe it's a question to you, Ali.
Yes, yeah. So exactly. If you have questions, everyone, please put them in this stream again. So that way we can refer back to them. But Master Adams was generous enough, and we have it on video that she would want to join us in the future when she has some more information that she thinks is relevant. And she's been gracious enough to offer her time to do a follow-up when it makes sense and when there's more information for her to share with you guys. Thank you, ma'am. You know, we have a lot of people asking questions, but you know, just so you know, Master Adams again is a banker herself, and she has to go back and do her job and actually get some of those loans for her customers out as we're doing this. You can review this video, and we will post it live ASAP the next 5 minutes, and then you can review some of the questions that she had already answered. Ma'am, again, thank you so much. We still have lots of questions coming in right now, but a lot of thanks. You can see the community is very thankful for the service that you provided. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Everybody hang in there. Okay, we're in this together. I just want everybody know, and stay healthy, okay? Your health is so important. So stay healthy and safe, and we will have this live streams again, in a few days as soon I receive more information.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you
for watching. Okay, we'll chat
Bye,
soon, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, I think